The Brandenburg Gate stands as a prominent symbol of Berlin and Germany. The gate is a landmark representing German history and unity. The Brandenburg Gate serves as a focal point for national celebrations and public gatherings. Modern Germany is characterized by a blend of cultural traditions and technological advancement. Germany's economic strength is supported by its industrial sector and renewable energy initiatives. The nation's vibrant culture and commitment to education contribute to its overall dynamism. A reverse time-lapse sequence visually represents the passage of time, moving backward through history. The sequence begins with the fall of the Berlin Wall, symbolizing recent historical events. The time-lapse progresses to the destruction of WWII, showcasing mid-20th century conflict. The sequence continues to depict medieval castles, representing the Middle Ages. The time-lapse culminates with Roman ruins, symbolizing ancient history. This cinematic technique compresses centuries of history into a brief but impactful visual representation.
Pre-Roman Germanic tribes and early settlements. The historical foundations of what would become Germany trace back to the Germanic tribes that inhabited Central Europe during the first millennium BCE. Archaeological evidence from the Hallstatt and La Tène periods reveals sophisticated Bronze and Iron Age cultures that established the cultural substrate for later Germanic development. The Germanic tribes, including the Cimbri, Teutones, Suebi, Cherushi, and numerous others, developed distinct social structures characterized by warrior aristocracies, tribal assemblies, and agricultural settlements. These early Germanic societies were organized around kinship groups and tribal confederations, with social stratification evident in burial practices and settlement patterns. The archaeological record from sites like Huneberg and Glauberg demonstrates sophisticated metalworking, trade networks extending across Europe, and complex religious practices centered on natural deities and ancestor worship. The Germanic tribes practiced a mixed economy of agriculture, animal husbandry, and craft production, with evidence of extensive trade relationships with Celtic, Roman, and Scandinavian peoples. Roman encounters and the Limes Germanicus. The collision between Germanic tribes and Roman imperial expansion fundamentally shaped early German history. Julius Caesar's campaigns in Gaul, 58 to 50 BCE, brought Rome into direct contact with Germanic peoples, particularly through encounters with Ariovistus and the Suebi. Caesar's ethnographic accounts, while colored by Roman perspectives, provide crucial insights into Germanic social organization, religious practices, and military tactics. The establishment of the Rhine frontier under Augustus marked a crucial turning point. The disastrous defeat of Publius Quinctilius Varus and 3 Roman legions at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest in 9 CE, led by the Cherushi chieftain Arminius Hermann, effectively ended Roman attempts at conquering Germania Magna. This victory became a foundational myth in later German national consciousness, though its immediate impact was the consolidation of Roman defensive positions along the Rhine-Danube frontier. The construction of the Limes Germanicus, a fortified frontier system stretching from the Rhine to the Danube, created a permeable but significant boundary between the Roman Empire and Free Germania. This frontier zone became a crucial area of cultural exchange, with Germanic tribes serving as foederati, engaging in trade and gradually adopting certain Roman technologies and organizational methods while maintaining their distinct cultural identity. The Great Migrations and Germanic Kingdoms. The period from the 3rd to 6th centuries CE witnessed the complex phenomenon known as the Völkerwanderung, or Great Migrations. This era saw massive population movements, the fragmentation of the Western Roman Empire, and the establishment of Germanic kingdoms across former Roman territories. The causes of these migrations were multifaceted, including climatic changes, population pressure, political instability, and the attractive opportunities presented by Roman weakness. The Goths, divided into Visigoths and Ostrogoths, established kingdoms in Iberia and Italy, respectively. The Vandals created a powerful maritime empire in North Africa, while the Franks consolidated control over Gaul. The Anglo-Saxons settled in Britain, and the Lombards established dominance in northern Italy. These kingdoms represented not mere barbarian conquests, but sophisticated political entities that synthesized Germanic traditions with Roman administrative practices and Christian religious structures. Within the Germanic heartland, the Alemanni, Bavarii, Thuringi, and Saxons established territorial duchies that would form the basis for later medieval German political organization. These kingdoms developed complex legal systems, exemplified by the Lex Salica and other Germanic law codes that balanced Germanic customary law with Roman legal principles. Frankish hegemony and Carolingian integration. The rise of Frankish power under the Merovingian and subsequently Carolingian dynasties marked the beginning of political unification in what would become Germany. Clovis III's conversion to Catholic Christianity and his military victories over the Alemanni and Visigoths established Frankish hegemony over much of Gaul and western Germania. The Frankish kingdom's expansion eastward brought Germanic tribes under centralized political control for the first time since Roman attempts at conquest. The Carolingian period, particularly under Charlemagne, 768 to 814 CE, witnessed the creation of a pan-European empire that included most of modern Germany. Charlemagne's Saxon Wars, 772-804, finally brought the last major Germanic tribe under Christian Frankish control, though at enormous cost in lives and cultural destruction. The systematic destruction of the Irminsul and forced conversions represented a traumatic rupture in Germanic pagan traditions. Charlemagne's coronation as emperor in 800 CE revived the concept of Western imperial authority and established the precedent for the later Holy Roman Empire. The Carolingian Renaissance fostered educational and cultural development, with monasteries serving as centers of learning and manuscript preservation. The capitulary system provided a framework for imperial administration that balanced central authority with local customs and privileges. The emergence of the Holy Roman Empire. The division of the Carolingian Empire through the Treaty of Verdun, 843 CE, created the East Frankish Kingdom, which formed the core of what would become the Holy Roman Empire. Under the Ottonian dynasty, beginning with Otto I's victory over the Magyars at the Battle of Lechfeld, 955 CE, and his subsequent coronation as emperor, 962 CE, the German kingdoms achieved unprecedented political unity and European prominence. The Ottonian Renaissance represented a flowering of intellectual and artistic achievement, with imperial patronage supporting scholars like Gerbert of Aurillac, and artists creating masterpieces such as the Gero Cross and the illuminated manuscripts of Reichenau. The Ottoman system of governance relied heavily on the church as an administrative apparatus, with bishops and abbots serving as imperial officials. This Reichskirchen system created tensions that would later explode during the investiture controversy. The Salian dynasty, 1024 to 1125, continued the expansion of imperial power, but also faced the growing challenge of papal reform movements. The conflict between Emperor Henry IV and Pope Gregory VII epitomized the struggle between secular and spiritual authority that would define much of medieval German history. The dramatic scene at Canossa, 1077, where the emperor performed penance before the pope, illustrated the complex balance of power in medieval Europe. The Hohenstaufen dynasty, 1138 to 1254, marked both the zenith and crisis of medieval German imperial power. Under Frederick Barbarossa, the empire achieved its greatest territorial extent and cultural flowering, with the concept of the Holy Roman Empire as the successor to Rome reaching its full theoretical development. However, the Italian campaigns drained German resources and attention, while the growth of papal power and the rise of urban communes challenged imperial authority. Frederick II, the wonder of the world, represented the complexity of Hohenstaufen rule. His cosmopolitan court in Sicily, his scientific interests, and his complex relationship with Islam demonstrated the intellectual sophistication of the high medieval period. However, his conflicts with the papacy and the increasing independence of German princes set the stage for the interregnum and the fundamental transformation of German political structure. The period concluded with the Great Interregnum, 1250 to 1273, marking the effective end of strong imperial authority in Germany and the beginning of territorial fragmentation that would characterize German political development for centuries to come.